Hello, I'm Harlux, and today you see this window wipers, very nice, and that's the tutorial as you see by the thumbnail, and we will be doing that today. This took me about 25 minutes to install. I would say about that long, but if you have a laggier build, it'll be different for everyone. But anyway, 25 minutes to install. I'm glad with it. I'm happy with it. It looks good. Without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Alrighty, to start off with the windshield wipers, first we have to get it separated from the build. Now, how I'm going to do that is going to get pistons to basically push it out, and we're going to just push it in. That's kind of how it's going to go. And with that, we're going to have servos connected here, and you just window wipe it, connect some timer blocks to it to make a repeat, and it's going to go back and forth, and it'll be great. So this is the train anyway. So right now we just need a build. So I want to put on match rotation since these are all tilted and whatnot. So what we're gonna do is you need to find where the actual what's it called joint is or something that actually is turning. So that would be like right here for me. So on that note, right now I'm just gonna move everything to get it out of here. So I'm gonna turn on match rotation, and I'm gonna uh, basically make some room. So from now, I'm gonna place a plastic block. Doesn't really matter if it's too. Actually, we'll make this a little nicer. There, now we got room for stuff. Now what I'm gonna do is get a piston, and what I'm gonna do with this is gonna rotate at 90. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna anchor the piston to see where it goes, and you guys can make it what's it called, the piston, like piston length 10, 9, 8, or whatever. I'm just trying to clear some space. Now I'm gonna what's it called, anchor this to the build itself, and just like that, we got that good. Now what I can do is I know where the piston's gonna be, so I can remove that since it's attached to this, and boom. Alright, now we can keep it like this. So now that we have the piston here like that, it's fine, doesn't need to be changed. What we can do is actually, so say your piston, here's a pro tip. So this piston, like its length right now is or an additional, so it's a point. So if I want to move this all over with the new tool, you can move it over. The proper way to move it over is for me it's gonna be 10.5, but say if it's like a piston length of like a 6, it would be 6.5, and that if it was 7, it would be 7.5. You just add 0.5 to whatever number you got, and and that's just the it's just how it works. All right, best way to say it. So example 10.5, move that over, and that's exactly where we want it. And for these, since they're at a tilt or whatever, we're gonna have to move it over. So what I'd like to do for this is just place a block with no angles or whatever. Click both of these and just click that, and we just scale it over 10.5. And we can do that for the windshield wipers and everything. I'm actually gonna click that so I can see what I'm doing a little better. And say you miss like a block on this or whatever, it's not too big of a deal. Alright, so it's at a tilt right now. To avoid that, I click the block again, deselect it, then click again, and it's all back. Now you scale it over 10.5. Oh, I missed one. Oh, this is perfect. And I can click the block again and just scale it over. Boom, exactly where we need it to be. Wait, did I clone that by mistake? Oh well. Maybe I'll just restart it. Click that. Everything's straight. Boom. Alright, we could do that again for these little things. Everything's straight. And for that piece right there. Boom. Alrighty. Now what we can do is I'm gonna save this, and when I unanchor it, we should see it line up. And that's lined up exactly where I want it to be. Alright, nice. So now I'm gonna reload. Alrighty, now that we got this, I don't really need this. Actually, I'll keep the plastic block here for keep's sake. I'll just scale it down a bit. These poles or whatever, I really don't care for them, so. And boom. Alrighty, now since we need to figure out like what the actual thing is to be, what I'm gonna do is let's see. Actually, I don't need to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the middle of each one of these, and since they're embedded in, and I'm just gonna cut them in half since half of it's like sticking out. I'm just gonna cut this in half, or use the middle point of that. Actually, I can just duplicate this. Oh, it's 10.5. I wanna have it decrease that. Yeah, that works. And now I'm just gonna make this cover where this. Imagine there's a line here. I'm just gonna cover that up. Alrighty, now since I don't really care what color, I'm gonna hide these at the end anyway, so doesn't matter what color it is. Alright, that works. And that works. Alrighty, nice. So what I want to do now is extend these a bit. Doesn't really matter how, well, actually, I'm gonna extend it to a point where I think it's like not gonna be completely attached to that. I want to make sure I don't attach it to that yet, just so I can have more room in case something goes wrong. So what I'm gonna do it now is put this on 90. And right now, it could be like that. I'm gonna place two of them, and that way this can just attach to the gray part. And same with this. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Can't complain. Now, let's just attach this to that right there. You do not want to, just a heads up, you do not want to you do not want these to like connect to the back of this or like make these fuse together. That would not work. Now it's time to turn collision off on a lot of this. So say you had like super detailed windshield wipers, which I don't think anyone really would, but in case you do, just place two poles like this. You want to take this, go to this, uncollision it, go to the stages, reload, and keep this with you and just dupe it over with non-collision on. That way you don't have to select everything. And put it in the exact same chair. But in this case, we do not need that. And now, that's basically it. And this can be, already boom. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to test it. Oh, server's lagging for a bit. Alrighty, and let's see what they look like. They look like they're in the exact same spots. Alrighty, nice. Now, alrighty, that's not what we wanted. exactly, but we could always change that. And I'm gonna up the thingy. Now it's just to see like what server angle and stuff best suits you. Alrighty, so we have a problem where this is like 90-degree angle and it's going outside of it. So what we're gonna have to do is put some limiters, basically stop it. And where I wanted to stop is like right around there. So then I'm gonna do what I thought was best fit. And now to create limiters or whatever, what you're gonna have to do is for this it's probably gonna be a little complicated. So I'm just gonna dupe this. I'm gonna scale it over. It doesn't really matter like what it looks like. I don't really care either. You can even go all the way out there. It doesn't really matter. We're turning collision off on these. And this will be our limiter block. This will actually be hitting the thingy to basically collision will, yeah, you know, it's gonna be collision, so it's gonna like hit it, not go through it. And it doesn't really matter too much where those are. And yeah, that looks good to me. All right, that's gonna be the collide thing. Now, what we're gonna do is build a little thingy, which we're also gonna hide. You don't worry about these parts. We're just gonna hide them at the end. So I want it to stop somewhere around there. So just gonna extend this a bit, and I'll be good there. And I'm just gonna bring it out so make sure it catches. That also will be invisible, and I'm not gonna turn collision, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's basically the block. So what I'm taking advantage of the game is do this. And that should be good. Now we save it. Also, say if you wanted it to, so my windshield wiper is a little weird. They're going out like a bird flap or whatever. Say you wanted it to be different, you just do that, and that's what it typically looks like for the double one. But my case is kind of weird. Alright, I just got it backloaded in, and let's test if these stoppers actually work. So what I'm gonna do is bring it all over with that. And oh, they do work. So now it's not. So you see the servo right now? It's not 75 degrees exactly. I'm stopping it from doing that much. So with the barriers here, it makes it work like that, and that looks good. And without further ado, uh, that works. So I guess now it's just to hook up a timer block and make them automatic, and I think they'll be done and hide everything. And now we can get everything collision off, except for the stuff we need to be. Now, let's get the timer blocks, the delay blocks. Sorry. You know, I'll just place them up on top of each other. It doesn't really matter. So how to make a delay block actually work? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook it up to the top one, and I'm gonna have the top one hook up to the bottom one. That way they're connected to each other. See, they keep repeating. And you can, if you want to change the speed of the wipers, you can change those. Now I got those hooked up. Alright, and from here I'm just gonna turn everything invisible. Alrighty, for the final thing, I upped the, what's it called? I did a little off-screening here, but I upped one of the delay times to 0.5, and without further ado, I made everything invisible. So now I guess it'll just be our final test. and we just push it in like that, and boom, window wipers.